And we're live on YouTube and specialchronicles.com/watch/live, and we go live on Facebook Live as well. And hopefully we don't have any difficulties like the last episode, in which our viewers hold no audio on Facebook Live. So this is the live video stream of the Special Chronicles show on specialchronicles.com. You can go to specialchronicles.com/show to get all the listen and podcast subscription information. And if you want to donate to Special Chronicles, you can go to specialchronicles.com/given. All that link is in the description below on either Facebook Live or YouTube or wherever you are listening to this show. To listen to the audio podcast, all that information as well is linked below. And or if you're listening to this on another device, just go to specialchronicles.com. And let's get the I should say for our viewers before we get started, our guests are Lowell and Gina, two of the three co-founders of Creative Spirit. And let's I am jotting down a note. Let's hope the second cup of coffee. Let's hope through the second cup of coffee I can get to the show. Okay. So much touching. 3, 2,
1. This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Special Chronicles is proud to partner with the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program. The Energy Force is the country's first energy efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. And we thank ComEd for the generous support of Special Chronicles. And this episode 283 is also brought to you by listeners like you. Please join our supporters with the tax-free deductible donation today to help us continue our mission and operate our studio, giving respect and voice to people with special needs. Please go to specialchronicles.com/given. That's specialchronicles.com/given. And we thank you for your generous support of Special Chronicles. This week on Special Chronicles, we are joined by Lowell and Gina, the co-founders of Creative Spirit US, talking about the only global organization that empowers individuals with intellectual disabilities.
Thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Oh, so you're listening to the Special Chronicles show. This is the show where we're podcasting disability stories from an insider's perspective, and we are giving a voice to people with special needs. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome back to the Special Chronicles show. My name is Daniel, the host and founder of Special Chronicles. So good to be back behind the mic and a little behind the scenes tidbit of information for you. I am recording 2 back-to-back live episodes on this Friday, March 16th, 2018. I had less than 30 minutes before this show, and so we've got some awesome Dreamers coffee wake me up blend that I'm enjoying here in the studio, and calling in all the way from Los Angeles, California, originally based out of New York City. Our guests on the program are Lowell Rossi and Gina, the co-founders of Creative Spirit, which creates and supports the successful placement of individuals like myself and so many others with intellectual and developmental disabilities at the most creative, forward-thinking companies in the world. Welcome to Special Chronicles, Lowell and Gina.
Thank you.
So I first discovered Creative Spirit and Lowell, you, thanks to our mutual friend, Darian Packard, who is a board member here at Special Chronicles, and Darian is also the chair commissioner for Soul Cheer for Special Olympics cheerleading, and over the past few years, I've gotten to know Darian and her family, and daughter Joelle, who I believe you and your daughter Mia know as well from the Williams Syndrome community. And but for any new listeners, why don't you both introduce yourself to our listeners and to our viewers?
Great. So Laurel Rossi, and I've spent a great part of my career in the advertising business, working alongside of Gina Grillo. And I have a daughter who's 16 with Williams syndrome. And it occurred to me after talking with a third colleague and our other co-founder, David Nobay, that the problem around unemployment among people with intellectual and developmental disabilities is a global problem and quite profound, with more than 85% unemployment in this population. So I got really interested after talking with our colleague David, because he had done a program in Sydney, Australia that was highly successful, and his organization had embraced those with disability and gentlemen with Down syndrome. That's really taken off as our centerpiece story. We launched last year in September, and it's been very successful. So I'll let Gina talk a little bit about herself, and we can tell you a little bit more.
Yes, so hi, I'm Gina Grillo, president of the Advertising Club of New York and the Andy Awards. And the Ad Club and the Andes are really, one of our focuses is about inclusion and diversity of thought. And we work really hard to impact our industry and make it a welcoming and inclusive place for all people, especially since it's communication, and we're, as an industry, communicating to people, and so we really need to be very representative of the population. And we see this community as another cohort in our inclusiveness. And so I'm really proud to be working with Laurel and David on this initiative.
Awesome. Awesome. In preparing for a time together today, I looked over your website and a short video clip on there, and I texted my mom before the show, just telling her that I was having both of you on the show, and so I'm sure she's really interested in your organization, Creative Spirit, as well. But give I saw in one of the promotional pictures, I think it was on your website, or that you had sent me before, Gigi, who also has Williams syndrome, is a part of your program, I believe. And Gigi, who's in college, was on this program 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah. So to kind of give our listeners and viewers, our radio listeners, our podcast radio listeners will hear this. For viewers, I'm going to try to show the iPad screen in front of me so you guys can all see this. But this, and then maybe you guys can comment on this video right after it plays that you guys have on your website, creativespirit-us.org. And here we go.
It was big. Easily my best pitch win ever.
You didn't let anyone speak.
Winning a pitch is so simple. You just gotta be original.
How many times can man say subservient?
I got a foolproof system.
It felt so organic.
Her hands felt clammy. Couldn't have done it without my teeth.
One minute.
You have to stay ahead of culture.
Did you know he wears a panda?
Blow their minds.
Call me an intern. Was like, idea.
We kept going and drank a ton of coffee. Going.
Hi, Jane.
Oh, hey, Harrison.
Thank you so much for picking us.
I think a different point of view is a valuable thing.
So winning Mia over wasn't charity, it was opportunity.
And amazing people like Laura should not be pitching us.
We should be pitching them.
After all, what's more creative than being different?
Awesome. I love everything about. I love everything about your organization and that video. It's definitely needed today, especially with in politics and stuff and employment and happening here in the U.S. But you guys want to briefly comment on that video?
Yeah, so every time I see it, it makes me smile because we were able to really galvanize the community to get behind this. We had so many talented people come forward and, you know, offer their services and their talent, from Publicis, which is an advertising agency that really took this on, developed all the commercials, and a lot of our friends who were featured in the spots are creative directors and families. Just a really wonderful way of a community rallying behind an initiative that really can have impact. And I do think, you know, that even though they're creative directors, I think that they did a great job acting, if you will. I think that they were great, and the sentiment, everybody was just, the day we did 2 days of shooting, and that there was just such an elevated, it was such an elevated experience for everybody. And I think it was an opportunity for people who run major organizations to see how abilities could really affect positively the culture of their companies.
Yeah. Neat. So take us back to you mentioned a little bit earlier at the top of the program, and I want to remind our listeners and viewers, our guests today are Lowell and Gina, the co-founders of, 2 of the 3 co-founders of Creative Spirit, which supports the successful placement of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities at the most creative and forward-thinking companies across the globe. Take us back to a little bit of the backstory of when Creative Spirit got started and the history in Australia. I believe I was reading that you guys started this in the U.S. in 2016, and then just last year, 2017, had started a pilot program here in the U.S. But kind of take us back to, because I think it's fascinating how this organization started over there across the pond in Australia, and that now you guys are bringing this here with the U.S. But take us back to when it first got started. And
Sure. So 3 years ago, at the very event that Gina and I are together at today, we were talking with a colleague from Sydney who, as I mentioned earlier, had been working with individuals with disabilities, Downs in particular, and he got an individual into his company, Lloyd Fernandez, who was very, very successful at really finding independence through fully integrated at a company called Droga 5. And as a result, what the organization got out of that was a profound change in the culture of the company. You know, we work in the advertising, marketing, technology, and media business. And what we find is that in these very go-go, fast-paced environments, sometimes culture falls by the wayside. And while advertising agencies in particular, and our business is very joyful as an industry and kind of a lot of fun, at the same time, it's a lot of high pressure. And so when Lloyd came into the organization back in 2009, he really profoundly changed the whole culture of the organization and the environment to the point where they wanted to roll the program out across Sydney and across Australia. Today, I'll fast forward a little bit to say that we've had such great success with that notion that now we are very robust in the US and we're bringing it back to Australia, which is very exciting for us. I think there are two things, and Gina, jump in on this because I think this is where the connection of like-minded people really works. We decided early on that we would be agnostic and open in the true sense of diversity to people of all kinds of ability. And so there are a lot of organizations that service people by classification, whether you have Down syndrome or Williams syndrome or autism or what have you. And we've decided that we will strictly be skills-based and that we will place people in these wonderful companies, which Gina can talk to in a minute, and find them roles by those particular skills, because really what matters.
You seem to cut out just a little bit. Can you still hear me? Hello? Can you still hear me? Hello? Hello, Gina? Can you still? Hello? 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 Can you still? I mean, hello, Gina? So for those watching the live stream, I think we have some technical difficulties. So I am just going to text lower, and see if we can. And we will see if we can get them back on the call. And so we will, there we go. I should mute my phone now. And just a moment, as we as Lowell and Gina join us, I need to have some background music on here. And joining us, I see them pop up here, but I do not hear them yet. Let's see if they can pop up here. It's going to be a fun show to edit. Fun show to edit. And they popped off. I'm just gonna just keep recording so I can attention with you. But make it fun to edit. And I will just keep entertaining you, viewers, because you can't play anything on YouTube. I probably won't. Maybe clean up. I thought I'd take away. Save something. And so we will see if they can find us now. In just a moment. Did you join the stream? I think you can also I'm going to see if I can also see if I can invite via phone. Yep. And we're back.
Hi.
All right.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Sometimes that happens to me too. But just I'm going to make a note of the audio, so I know where to edit the audio. But I'm going to just to kind of come back out of that break. You're listening to the Special Chronicles show, specialchronicles.com, co-founders of Creative Spirit. And we will be back in just one moment.
And if don't go away, we're right back.
You're listening to Special Chronicles podcast, and here is your host.
My name is Daniel, host founder of Special Chronicles, and hopefully all of our radio podcast listeners do not know that we have some technical difficulties there. But if you're watching the Facebook live stream, then you probably noticed some difficulties there. But our guests today are still Lowell and Gina, co-founders of Creative Spirit, which supports the successful placement of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities at the most creative, forward-thinking companies in the world. And I forgot exactly where we left off without rewinding the tape there. But let's you talk a little bit. Let's move forward. And speaking of forward-thinking companies, let's move forward and talk a little bit about the mission of Creative Spirit and why you wanted to have Creative Spirit in the U.S. because I think it's important that for those of us with intellectual and developmental disabilities to have that true sense of inclusion and in the ad or media industry. So you both comment a little bit about the mission and
Thank you. One of the things that we want to be able to do is to really change the dynamic. 85% unemployment among this population is completely unacceptable. You're talking about a great majority of the population. You're talking 10 million people at the very least over the age of 18. And to have 8.5 million of them out of work is not okay. And so one of the things that we've done is gone to the best corporations around the country because we know the big corporations have wonderful opportunities around training, development, long term, they are the best places for us to make a match with all kinds of abilities. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, for those of you who were listening, we match on skill set, and we are looking for candidates across the country. We have jobs pretty much everywhere. Most recently, as an example, we started a search for a number of positions in the Atlanta, Dallas, and Minneapolis markets, and now Los Angeles especially. So we've got great demand. New York and New Jersey have been very popular for us, but we are a national organization, and we are looking for talented individuals who really would love to be working. You can work part-time, you can work full-time. We are placing people for internships, and we are looking even to some of the universities and colleges and trade schools and high school, of course, to find individuals who want full-time employment.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel that it's especially needed today, and you see a lot of stories of people with disabilities either working in coffee shops or retail. Like, for example, in addition to this job that I founded here at Chronicles, I also work part-time at Goodwill. But those, can you maybe talk a little bit about the difference between those retail jobs that those of us with disabilities can look at versus in the media and advertising in those types of companies? Is there a difference or a need?
I think one of the things that has really leveled the playing field is technology. And so I think, technology and social media and how how proficient people are in that area has really opened up the opportunity for many people who were just dealing, the opportunity for them was a very narrow field of before, but I think now technology has really expanded that playing field. And this is, I'm relatively new to understanding all of the special gifts that people have and talents that they have. And, Laurel maybe could add to that, but I really believe that because of technology, it no longer has to be menial jobs that are available to people. It could be, stuff that they could really, sink their teeth into and share their expertise.
One of the things that business loves about Creative Spirit is that they know that when they are recruiting and sourcing a candidate through us, that they are gaining an employee who is loyal for the long run. The retention among candidates in our group is close to 100%, which means there's a fantastic return on investment for corporations to invest in individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities. And so aside from the fact that we can get people jobs, we do coaching and we help them maintain their jobs over the long run. And I know that there is sometimes some reticence to, really jump in with both feet. And one of the things we're trying to do is to really encourage the community to reach out to us the best way. And I hope this works for you, Daniel. I think if we have people send their information or just an email to info@creativespirit-us.org, they can send a resume. We can send them back a skills form. And we can help make that kind of a match in a very intimate way that gets them the kind of jobs that they're looking for.
Awesome. And that's info@creativespirit -us.org. Yeah, and I'll make sure to put that in the show notes on specialchronicles.com for episode 283 for our listeners and viewers. In top of the program, I forgot to ask you, Gina, Loa, you said that your 16-year-old daughter, Mia, was diagnosed with Williams syndrome. But Gina, do you have any connection to our disability or special needs community, or what made you interested in Creative Spirit, and do you have any connection like Loa and her daughter Mia?
Aside from, loving Laurel and Mia, I'm just a person who is open and feels really strongly about the special gifts of humanity in general. My son has learning issues, and so that obviously has me heightened. But I think, before that, it's just people being good to each other. And that's always what attracted me.
Awesome.
One of the things that I think works really nicely, Daniel, also is that for people who come through Creative Spirit, they are automatically asked what kind of accommodations they need in their role. So even if we don't identify or stamp someone with a particular disability as they go through the HR organization, they are given special handling so that the organization is cued to say, what kinds of accommodations do you need in your positions? And one of the things that I think really attracted Gina to the story to begin with is that, we can have a high level of success because people are very reticent to identify themselves, and more importantly, they fail out of their jobs because nobody goes into an interview saying, I have whatever the disability is. They try to really tough it out, and 9 times out of 10 they're unsuccessful. And this is really a great way to kind of go through an unpressured, organization that is really, rooting for the candidate, and that's where Gina's help has been totally invaluable.
Awesome. Yeah. I feel that also that it's important for these companies to see the special gifts instead of like a lot of times in the past, or maybe even still today, a lot of companies might both see the disability or what they or what we can't do, as opposed to these special gifts of what I want to get our guests today on the Special Chronicles program are Laura and Gina, the co-founders of Creative Spirit, which creates and supports the successful placement of individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities into the most creative, forward-thinking companies across the globe. And talk a little bit about, I saw on your website and preparing for our time together today that there are more than 50 companies that you guys are placing these individuals with. What types of companies have you placed? And can you, we don't have to go through the entire list, but maybe highlight just a few.
So we obviously started in the creative space. So not surprisingly, we have a lot of advertising agencies on our list. Of course, we're a little biased, but we think they're some of the most generous, fantastic people on the planet. We have a number of technology organizations that are very deeply involved and are very generous, not only in soliciting candidates, but also in training them. So tech companies, we have companies in the entertainment space. We have companies that are also in the marketing departments at companies that are in the packaged goods space. So it really spans the gamut. And one of the things that I want to I want everybody to think about is that, in some of the arts type companies, you have a lot of soft skills and hard skills. And so you can work in the accounting department, you could work in the creative department, you could work in the production department, you could work in the TV department. And so, we've been, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit biased toward the creative community because it's really such a broad definition. And we find that people of all abilities do really, really well across those verticals.
And I think, for those that are listening who are saying, wow, this might be a great opportunity for me to do something that I've always wanted to do, I want to just underscore what Laurel said about companies, real commitment to seeing beyond the disability and making those accommodations because they realize that there's a lot that these folks can add to their culture, but also just to their bottom line as well, because they're helping move their business forward. So anybody that's within earshot that has a desire to do something other than they've done, I think that they would be received very welcoming.
Yeah, awesome, yeah. And I'm more in the media side of things, but do you those a lot of times in either whether it's in Hollywood or in the media, there was just that film, The Silent Child, that just won an Oscar a couple weeks ago. But a lot, and then those Speechless on ABC with Micah Farlow. There's the show Bone This Way on A&E. But a lot of times you don't see a lot of talented people with various special needs and disabilities getting these either actors or behind the scenes. Jonathan Murray, who created Bone This Way, he's even hired some people behind the camera as well, but there's still not a lot. So can you maybe talk a little bit about what we can do, or what a little bit more about some of those jobs on how we can bring true and more and accurate inclusion instead of somebody who doesn't have autism or Down syndrome or learning disabilities playing these roles or behind the scenes. But how can we bring more and accurate inclusion in the media?
Yeah, we have a very keen focus on the visibility of individuals with disabilities and all abilities in the media, and obviously we touch that business, which is nice. We have a great partner in A&E who, as you know, is strikingly focused on their very successful program Born This Way, and we're learning from them. We are also working with LCA 2.0, Lights, Cameras, Access, to be able to integrate some of what they're doing in terms of bringing a bigger focus on the disability community and enhancing their visibility. I think for us, our next phase will really incorporate a lot more of getting people in front of the camera. But right now, our number one focus is getting people jobs and integrated employment situations, and that would include the acting space as well. We're really, really, my daughter, the actress, would really like that.
Yeah, I see. I think on her Instagram live or stories. Yeah, she's pretty active there. So tell us maybe about some of the sponsors that you guys have for Creative Spirit, and a little bit about what they do to help you guys with your mission.
Yes. So we have Verizon as a sponsor, Voya, A&E, and of course the Advertising Club of New York, which is the largest professional organization in the space and has been around for 136, how long? The ad club.
121.
Oh, 121 years. You think I'd know that by now. I've been on the board for a while. As you know, partners and sponsors, they not only set the tone for, voting with their feet and, putting people into positions and jobs, but more importantly, they lend their professional advice in terms of how to get these candidates into these organizations and make them successful. And so when you think about the Voya's, Verizon's, A&E's, and the Ad Club, you're also talking about a network of professionals that is probably, some of the best in the world, given the number of companies who belong to the Advertising Club alone. We have, what, 5,000 members?
5,000 members, yes.
Awesome.
We're very lucky.
Yeah. So once again, our guests today on the Special Chronicles program are Laura and Gina, the co-founders of Creative Spirit, which creates and supports the successful placement of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities at the most creative, forward-thinking companies across the globe. Tell us about some of the of what candidates need to know, and what employers need to know, and what advocates need to know, and that when they work with, and when they when they will send their resume to info@creativespirit-us.org. Tell us a little bit about what candidates, employers, advocates need to know when they work with Creative Spirit.
Sure. So a couple of things. Number one, if a candidate has a resume, we love to have their resumes in advance, and we really do comb those resumes for detail and passion, and also for real articulation of what it is they want to do with their life and their career. The other thing is we have a skills form that we send out after we get the initial email that allows the candidate to really brag and talk about things they might talk about in an interview. And then we have a coach who will work with the candidates to put their interviews together. And some of the skills that we're seeing are everything from development and coding websites. We had one of our candidates actually worked on and developed the our Creative Spirit website very successfully. And we're fortunate to have such a smart gentleman helping us with that. In addition, we have people who are writers, and we have people who are art directors. We have people who work in accounting. We have one young man who right now is working in medical technology, so understands a lot about personal information, and that's going to translate into a job in one of the tech companies where they're going to be handling some personal information, which is very sensitive. And so, we're really proud to have so many cases.
Seem to cut out just a little bit there. Seem to have frozen just a little bit. Seem to have frozen just a little bit there. So, seem to have we join with just audio. So I am letting our guests, Lo and Gina, know that they can rejoin with just audio, and so hopefully that will maybe help with the connection just a little bit, and see if that can help with the technical difficulties that we have on this episode 283 of the Special Chronicles show on specialchronicles.com. And I am making more contribute. And we'll see if we can have them rejoin in just a moment as we come back on the Special Chronicles show right here on specialchronicles.com. Again, for any of our live viewers, we apologize for any technical difficulties with the internet connection out there in Los Angeles, California. But please bear with us as hopefully our guests can rejoin there. If not, we can always call them on the phone here and then put it up to the microphone, and hopefully our viewers and listeners can hear the fabulous content learn about Creative Spirit. Once again, their website is creativespirit-us.org, creativespirit-us.org, and we join or we finish up. I think we lost you. We join with just audio, and I think they rejoined here, and I see just the little picture there, and so hopefully it will just be audio, and we will slowly wrap up if we will and I think that hopefully audio will just look a little bit better, and as we and we're back.
Hi.
Hi.
I was gonna say you could have rejoined by audio, but so there's gonna be a lot of editing on the show today, and I forgot where we had.
I know we're making this job hard for you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's just come back out of that break.
You're listening to Special Chronicles Podcast. And here is your host.
This is the Special Chronicles show right on specialchronicles.com, and we are joined with Loa and Gene, they are the co-founders of Creative Spirit, which creates and supports the successful placement of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities with the most creative, forward-thinking companies across the globe. And we got exactly where we had left off. But you're talking a little bit about what the candidates need to know, and I made a was there anything that you wanted to add that we had? You were talking about some of the companies in more the media industry that you are employing with these companies.
I think the only thing that I would add, and Gina is central to helping us identify some of those companies as both a board member and a co-founder, is companies that really have the aptitude and the attitude to be able to make our program important to them. And so, we're talking about organizations that are in the telecommunications space or the technology space or the media space. And I think that when you think about a large corporation, most people think that it's too complex to navigate. And what we really try to do at Creative Spirit is to make that navigation pretty flawless. Nothing's perfect in the world, but we know that with the kind of cooperation that we've been getting from our corporate partners, that everybody is dedicated to long-term success. And we look to have people in their jobs for their lifetime.
Awesome.
And I also think the other thing that has been super positive is that everybody that we're talking to has been so receptive. And so I think if you believe that the timing is right, it's just where the timing is now. We've gotten such an amazing show of support from companies in the media space, on the agency side, on the marketing side. So the opportunity is there. So we just want to make sure that we have enough candidates to fill, hopefully, all the positions. We have a very lofty goal, and we intend to meet that goal. So we hope that everybody that's listening and for whom this sounds interesting will get in touch with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And over the past 10 years at Special Chronicles, we've had a bunch of different volunteers with and without disabilities contributing on air. I believe right now we have a couple people who also compete in Special Olympics who write stories for us on Special Chronicles and do an incredible job. And we've also had some other people with CP and Down syndrome and very special needs on air. Our mutual friend Darlene, her daughter Joelle. I think after the World Games in Los Angeles, she co-hosted an episode on Special Chronicles with me. And so great that we have these platforms in these creative jobs to and what true inclusion is.
That's fantastic. Daniel, we one of the things we wanted to say in the end is that we have as Gina mentioned, a lot of open positions, and we really are looking forward to talking live with some of those candidates. So if you could circulate, the email address where they can submit their resumes would be great. And also, you don't have to have a resume. We will coach you through that process, and we are starting to work with some of the universities and national honor societies, et cetera, who are also providing us candidates, but also coaches. And so peer mentors is a big part of what we hope to do over the long run, and help our candidates also with financial literacy and financial management. Once you get a paycheck, you have to know what to do with it. And also the kind of digital training that's necessary to really have a job in the future economy.
Yeah, awesome. So, and I saw on your website, on creativespirit-us.org, that you had a number of different stats. 85% of adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities are unemployed. 50% of adults with IDD are underemployed or work without pay. And you said, which I think is a awesome number, and awesome goal that you guys have, it is the 130,000 number of jobs that Creative Spirit will create by year of.
That's Gina's favorite number, by the way.
It makes me very nervous, so please prove me wrong that it can be done.
So, can you maybe comment a little bit on these stats and kind of how? And I think it's neat that if all of us, whether it's a nonprofit like Creative Spirit and Antiques Chronicles and these for-profit companies, all work together to help to make this happen. But can you maybe comment on these stats?
Yeah, one thing that is incredibly, I think, motivating is to understand that the 85% number is impacted only ever so slightly by the 130,000. So it moves the percentage from 85 to 84%. And so we are very much focused on trying to make the 130,000 jobs by 2020 happen, because we want to be the first organization, not because we're being competitive, but we really believe in the momentum of the exercise. We want the 130,000 to happen because we want to prove that we can make a dent in not only getting people hired, but also in policy. We know there are a lot of policy issues. The ABLE Act started the momentum, but we also know that we need to be able to deal with other kind of income limitations that people have, and we're working on that at the same time. We do know that it is financially better in the long run and puts people on the road to independence if they have a full-time job in an integrated environment.
Absolutely. And can you share again the social media website links for Creative Spirit? And I'm going to definitely put in the show notes for episode 283 on specialchronicles.com, the email, and I'll put it on our social media as well. So our listeners, if you know of any candidates that want to work with you, can very easily send a resume or get in touch with you. But can you remind our listeners the website and social media links?
I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of trouble with the background noise. So are you asking how people could get in touch?
Yes, yeah. How people can get in touch. Your website and social media links.
Yes. You can register on the website. So if you are a candidate looking for a position, you can register on the website, which is creativespirit-us.org. Or you can just send us an email directly at info.creativespirit-us.org.
Awesome. And so once again, that's creativespirit-us.org, and the email is info@creativespirit-us.org. And I'm sure lots of our listeners or viewers will be interested and hopefully get in touch with you to help to increase the number. And what
Certainly hope so.
yeah and what do you see how can different nonprofits and different companies work together? What do you see as the best way of how
Yes.
they can work together?
Well, we're looking to create a collaborative or consortium of organizations that will help us in terms of not just giving us candidates who might want some of these positions, but also who want to serve on our board over the long run, and or we're looking for people to participate and take advantage of the fact that we're developing these financial literacy programs and also digital training programs over the long run.
Awesome. And if
And Daniel, I want to interrupt to say one quick thing, and that is we know that nobody's going to solve this problem alone. We are very conscious of the fact that for however many years, nobody's really cracked the code in terms of changing the 85% number. And so we are a very open architecture, open organization in terms of really wanting to collaborate with others in the space to make this a reality.
awesome, yeah. And I'm sure off air we can talk more about how Special Chronicles and Creative Spirit can maybe work together to help to change that 85% number and create more jobs. And hopefully when my mom and I are in New York City this June, Lower, you and I and Mia, and hopefully we can meet up.
Fantastic. That'd be great.
And do you guys have any final thoughts on your overall time here today on Special Chronicles that you want to share with our listeners?
Well, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to appealing to your audience, because we really are committed to finding employment for all who are able and ready to work.
Yeah, come on our journey.
Yes, awesome. And so if our listeners want to share their feedback, you can email us feedback@specialchronicles.com, feedback@specialchronicles.com, and join the conversation on social media at Special Chronicles on Facebook and Instagram. And we've been tagging Creative Spirit on our Instagram story, and so you guys can easily get connected with Creative Spirit, and you can leave us your 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and wherever you listen to your podcast. Once again, your website is creativespirit-us.org, and you can email info@creativespirit-us.org. We'll put, if that's how to write down, don't worry, we'll put the links on specialchronicles.com for episode 283, so that's going to easily get connected. And I'd like to, despite all the technical difficulties that our podcast radio listeners hopefully will not tell, but if you're watching the video, we apologize for all that. But thank you again, Lola and Gina, for taking the time to come on the Special Chronicles show, and I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting you in person in New York City this June. It's my first time visiting New York City, but thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We're
you,
big
Daniel.
fans of Special Chronicles. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to get our guests today on the Special Chronicles program have been Lola and Gina, the co-founders of Creative Spirit, which creates and supports the successful placement of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities at the most creative and forward-thinking companies across the globe. Thank you again, Lola and Gina, for coming on the Special Chronicles program. And until next week, take care and God bless. Thank you.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
And stop the audio there. And they're going to stop the live video, and they ended the call. Perfect. I mean, perfect timing. So we'll go ahead and stop this. And you are still watching the live video. You can stay. I'm going to add this here. Thanks all for tuning in to the Facebook and YouTube live streams. Stay tuned for the edited audio test to hear the show without, and I'm going to just check that. And I need to take a walk. Maybe plug in the phone there. And let's unmute that there. And I guess if it wants to capitalize. Okay. Well, I am just going to that comment, and we will click done now. Thanks all for tuning in. Look for the show on specialchronicles.com/show and episode 283. Thank you, Lola and Gina. Looking forward to staying in touch.